Retirees going broke because of long-term care, says the New York Times. The New York Times, they're straight shooters. They'd never lie to us. Just want to share with this silly article from the New York Times dated November 15, 2023. Facing financial ruin as costs soar for elder care. The U.S. has no coherent system for providing long-term care, leading many who are aging to struggle to stay independent or rely on a patchwork of solutions. We talk about old Margaret Nukem, a retired French teacher. She's desperately trying to protect her retirement savings by caring for her 82-year-old husband, who has severe dementia. Let's see, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom here and see what happens to old Margaret. Here she is. She's Margaret right there. She cares for her husband who has dementia at home, partly in an effort to protect the retirement savings. So she's considered memory care units, but the least expensive option costs around $8,000 a month, and some could reach nearly twice that amount. The couple's monthly income with his pension and their Social Security is $6,000 a month. So she has a house, presumably paid for, and $500,000 right here. Placing her husband in such a place would have gutted the $500,000 they had saved before she retired. Really? You need $2,000 a month? Yeah, more than that, because she's still got to live, I grant you. But you got $500,000 and the house that's paid for. Interesting. That's gonna gut your retirement? Oh, seems like it's not as bad as it is, right? Now we got this lady right here. All right, who's this? This is right here. This is Gay Glenn. Her mother had to spend down her savings paying a nursing home, more than $10,000 a month until she qualified for Medicaid. Miss Glenn, Gay Glenn, relocated from Chicago to Topeka more than 4 years ago, moving into one of her mother's 2 rental properties and overseeing her care and finances. So she had to spend down her savings to qualify for Medicaid, but she has 2 rental properties, and check this out. Let's see what happens. Under the state's Medicaid program, she had to pay rent to her mother, and that income went towards her mother's care. Well, shouldn't it? Miss Glenn sold the family's house just before her mother died. Her lawyers told her that the state needed to pay back Medicaid $20,000. Okay, well, I mean, so she wasn't dying broke if you had to pay back Medicaid from her estate because you sold the house. All right, at any time, skilled homes have roughly 630,000 people in them. And the long-term residence care can easily cost more than $100,000. Okay, so now we're going to show you what the actual numbers say here. Check this out. Because the numbers are actually looking pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised to see this. Those who needed long-term care were more likely to die broke. Among Americans who had 171 to 1.8 million in savings at age 65, those who with greater long-term care needs were much more likely to deplete their savings than those who did not need long-term care. If you did not need long-term care, only 2% of you died broke. 98% did not. If you needed long-term care, 9% died broke. 91% did not. If you needed to get paid help, 18% of you died broke. That means 82% did not. If you lived in a nursing home, 23% died broke. That means 77% did not. Right now, with long-term care and nursing homes and skilled care, 633,000 people, whatever they said, are in there. So if we take our trusty calculator and we say right here, we're going to say we had 23%, we have 650,000 people are in long-term care facilities right now, and 23% of them are going to die broke. That means 150,000 people are going to die broke. That sucks, but we're a big country. We got 370 million people in this country. That doesn't seem unreasonable to me. It's certainly not where we're all going to die broke, especially when we don't need only 2% who don't need long-term care die broke. If we look at my book, so you can retire on Social Security, we find that nearly half the population right there needed no long-term care. So we have half the population doesn't need any long-term care, and only 2% of those people die broke. That means 1% of the entirety of the population of those groups of people will die broke. All right, now the interesting thing is, going back to my book again, is we're going to see what the actual expenditures on long-term care is. All right, so we're going to see right here. For the majority of the surveyed people using the HRS, by the way, the same survey these guys are using, out-of-pocket healthcare expenses are not as high as commonly believed. For those who die at age 95 or later, the median cumulative, adding it up year over year, out-of-pocket expense after ages 70 until death was slightly above $27,000. That doesn't include your health insurance premiums. That's your out-of-pocket expenses. $27,000. Not going broke if you're spending $27,000. All right. Let's see here. Okay, we already talked about that. The out-of-pocket expenses are catastrophic for some. Again, for those who die at age 95 or later, the 90th and 95th percentiles are nearly 172,000 or 269,000 respectively. So those are the top 10% and 5% of the out-of-pocket of the total of the group there. The totality of it, the top 10 and 5. And their at median, half spend more, half spend less, is 172 to 269,000 bucks. So even that lady we talked about, Miss Nukem, is she going to spend that kind of scratch on her husband? I doubt it. She might, but she has the money. She's got a house and she's got $500,000. And then she goes on to say, which kind of ticks me off, I'm not going to lie to you. She goes on to say right here, one second, let me find it. We got to find the picture of her. And I'm not mad at her. This whole thing is, I'll let go of everything if I have to, but it's a very unfair system. If you didn't see, it's a very unfair system. If you didn't see ahead or didn't have the right type of job that provides for you, it's tough luck. No, you did see ahead. You saved. What is this idea that we can't pay for our own bills? It's the weirdest thing. We're going to knock on the door of our neighbor and say, hey, even though I got $500,000 in a house paid for, can you pay for my husband's long-term care? It's crazy to me. I don't understand. It costs money for this stuff. Yes, that does suck. It doesn't happen. About 15% of the people are going to spend a significant amount of money. And significant is over $250,000. And as we see right here, I'm going to show you. This is from the Department of Health and Human Services, right here. About 15% of the people, right there, spend over $250,000. Are they all going broke? No. Why? Because first of all, that includes all the wealthy people, which this study the New York Times talks about does not. They only include people with $184,000 to 1.8 or something like that. So you take the people with 2, 3, 4, 5 million, they are going to spend more because they can self-insure 100%. But I mean, I can't believe people are like, I can't retire because I'm worried about long-term care. When we see the studies over and over and over and over again that people just don't die broke. Some do, 23% who lived in nursing homes. So that is literally, if we take our trusty calculator, roughly 15% of the population spends over $250,000. We can assume those are the people living in a nursing home. That's probably even on the high end. Because we already saw I think it was like 650,000 people were in skilled care. Now, skilled care is not all nursing homes. Nursing homes could be more than just or less than skilled care, I grant you. But let's say 650,000 people for simplicity. Anyway, either way, we're going to take 0.15% of the elderly population, and we're going to times that by 0.23 of the people who die broke. That's 3.5% people who die broke, who live in nursing homes. 1% here, 3.5% there, has some paid help. And again, the median out-of-pocket cost, this is real numbers. The median total out-of-pocket cost was $27,000 for those aged 70 and over. With the median annual cost, this does not include your insurance premiums or Medicare Part B, Part D, and your Medicare Sup, is $2,000. Look, there's a catastrophe for some. I'm not saying it's not, but the vast majority of people are not going to die broke in long-term care. They're just not. And even the New York Times, even though they're trying to scare you, they say that right there. The one lady had rental properties. The one lady was able to sell her mom's home, had to pay back Medicaid. Why? Because she said, hey, we have a 5-year look back, 7-year look back, whatever Kansas does. Your mom still had money. She gave you the properties, and we need some of that. Hey, that means she did not die broke. Mrs. Nukem, she said, oh my goodness, I got $500,000 I got paid for my husband's long-term care. It sucks. But the likelihood of you dying broke is almost zero. Because he's 82 years old. He's got knee-deep in dementia. He's not going to live for another 20 years. I mean, anyone could. Just not likely to happen. I'm not sympathetic. I am. Dude, I've seen dementia. It sucks. I hope that for the love of the good Lord, I hope I don't get it. Had a horrible consequence for my wife. But it's not going to keep me from retiring because it's just silly. The likelihood of you going broke with long-term care needs is just not very high. It's kind of like these people like, I need a 100% probability of success on my retirement plan. Why? Because if I have a 95%, that means 5% of the chances. Like if I only have a 95%, that means 5% of the time it's like crashing my plane. Oh my goodness. No, it's not. No, it's not. And by the way, they don't even, and the New York Times confuses, they say you're running out of savings, but they don't say explicitly if you've ran out of, if you have sold your house. They just say you ran out of savings. We don't know if they're saying savings or overall net worth. Sometimes they're saying savings, sometimes they're saying net worth. I don't even know if it includes selling their house. I don't know. Anyway, I just stop the fear, man. And of course, the best thing to do is just get some health, get some exercise, eat some good meat. Don't go vegan. Eat some meat, drink some raw milk, take a walk, get some vitamin D. Don't listen to news. It'll make you all fearful. Oh my goodness, Trump and Biden. No. Turn all that crap off. Nothing you can do about it anyway. But go out for a walk and be content and show some gratitude for the good Lord providing you to live in the bounty that is the United States. All right. Love your thoughts. God bless.